Okay, screen is visible, I think. My screen is visible. Okay. So last class we have seen problem solving steps. I mentioned the total number of problem solving steps. So this is treated as software development life cycle. So in that life cycle, these are the steps that are required, but we are concentrating on only four. I told already, only four steps we are following, only four steps we are concentrating because we are talking about algorithms. Okay, na? So first we need to read the problem completely. After reading problem, we get the requirements. After that, we need to design, means write algorithm. After that, we need to verify whether algorithm is working properly or not. Next, we need to calculate the time and space complexities by using analysis procedure for algorithm only. After that, we need to convert algorithmic statements into program. After writing program, we need to test the program by following two steps I've already told you. After that, if program is working properly, if you show that particular program or product to the customer, if customer is satisfying, then we need to deploy, means copy or install that particular product into customer's system. After that, based on customer interest, the maintenance may be followed. After finally, we need to document. Okay, document means we need to clearly give the total information about a program designing part, overall steps, all the previous steps related information must be provided in documentation. Is it clear now? So generally those are the steps that are supposed to be followed, but only we are concentrating on four steps above listed steps. So those four steps are related to the research area under algorithms. If you want to study any algorithm, so these are the four important research areas that are involved. I have already explained. So once again, I will touch these steps. First one is how to devise or design. So designing, so we need to design an algorithm. So how to devise or how to design an algorithm, how to validate or verify an algorithm, how to analyze an algorithm, and how to test the program. These are the four steps I have explained in previous class. If you have any doubt, you can raise me now also. You can ask a question now also. If you have any doubt, you can ask me question now here. If you have any doubt, Nana, in these four steps, if you have any doubt, otherwise I will go to next step. If you have any doubt now, Nana, regarding previous class, if you have any doubt about these four steps, so these four steps are important steps for studying algorithm. If you have any doubt now, you can respond to me in chat. Okay, then I will move to next class, means next topic. Next topic is pseudocode for writing algorithm. So what is pseudocode? First of all, for writing algorithm, we have some steps we need to follow. One is simple English we write. One is simple English. See, in simple English we can write algorithm. In simple English we can. I will show you how we can write by using simple English. Okay, na? And second one is flowchart. By using flowchart, we can write an algorithm. And third one is pseudocode. So this is our syllabus topic. Pseudocode is our syllabus topic. And but we can also use either simple English statements or flowchart for representing algorithm. I will show you how to write the statements in simple English. Suppose if you want to add two numbers, If you want to add two numbers, for two numbers related English statements or algorithm. First one is, generally we start your algorithm, yes or no? Start an algorithm. Here we are including only simple English statements for writing algorithm. Okay, simple English. So how many numbers are required? Two numbers. Then read two numbers. Even need not to mention A and B. Even you mention A and B, nothing wrong. Read the two numbers A and B. Okay, na? So after reading, after making available these two values to algorithm, then immediately add those two numbers. Add those two numbers. Just we are writing English statements only. Add those two numbers. Once after adding two numbers, if you want to store the result in another variable, then store result in another variable C. Okay, na? And if you want to display the result, write C. Okay, na? and if you want to stop, then stop here. Is it clear now? So here I am not using any instructions, any for loop or any assignment or any addition related statements. Actually adding two numbers, we write a statement as C equal to A plus B. Yes or no? C equal to A plus B. Like this we write. Okay, na? C equal to A plus B. But I am not including this statement because here this statement is not required. We are talking about simply English statements for representing algorithm. So simple English statements means nothing is required. No programming constructs or no programming instructions are required to represent an algorithm. Simply write a plain English statements. Okay, na? Between start and stop, just reading two numbers, adding those two numbers, and store the result in another variable. And if you want to display, then write that particular statement on display system and stop. Okay, na? So this is about algorithm writing using simple English. Anyway, flowchart we know. Flowchart means we use a symbolic representation for each and every statement. Once you know the sequence of steps, then just by selecting one suitable symbol for representing that particular statement as a flow, so that is flowchart. A variety of structures or diagrams are required. So based on those algorithmic statements, we use a relative diagram or structure for representing flowchart. Is it clear now? But those two are not mentioned in our syllabus. Our syllabus is containing only the pseudocode for writing algorithm. Of course, about two are also used for writing algorithm, but here we are using pseudocode for writing algorithm. What do you mean by pseudocode? It is like a code program. It is like a program, but it is exactly not like programming instructions. But that's why we are calling it as pseudocode. It looks like Fortran or Algol language. Either it resembles like a Fortran or Algol language. Okay, na? Here I am going to mention what are the different steps or different items we are using to represent algorithm using pseudocode. Okay, na? First we start with very simple statement. First we start with statement like suppose if you want to provide information about algorithm. Generally, if you see algorithm or program, sometimes some people are writing comments on comments before writing program. Those comments are representing the purpose of algorithm or program. If you want to include purpose of algorithm or purpose of program as a information, or if you want to include information for each and every statement in the program or algorithm, generally we use comments related rule. Comments, we call them as comment. Okay, na? So first step is comments. First step is comments. While writing pseudocode, the first step we need to write is comment. As you wish, that is as you wish. If you want to inform your program related information to others, those who read your program, generally we start our program writing with comments. Okay, na? So these comments are used for writing program information, and individual statements information also. Whenever if you want to inform individual statements related meaning, at that statement itself, we can write the comment, individual statements. But how can we write the comments? How can we write the comments? See here, there are two ways of including comments to your program or algorithm. One way is this. So this particular two forward slashes are representing line comments. Line comments. Okay, na? For each and every line, before starting any text, first of all we need to start two forward slashes at the beginning of line, and you can write any number of lines. Like suppose if you want to write the purpose of algorithm, this algorithm or program is used for adding two numbers. Whenever if any person sees, suppose if this line is extended to next line, again start the next line with two forward slashes. Otherwise, compiler raises error. Okay, na? If your comment extending to next line also, then you are supposed to start the next line also with two forward slashes. Okay, na? Two numbers like this. So before starting the algorithm or program, if you want to provide the purpose of that particular algorithm or program at the beginning of or above all the steps, then start your algorithm comment with two forward slashes. Otherwise, compiler raises error. If you forget placing these two forward slashes, then compiler raises error because this type of instruction is not there in algorithm or program. Is it clear now? If you put two forward slashes, then compiler treats that this is comment. So this is about line comment. If you put two forward slashes, this is treated as a line comment. Okay, na? And suppose if you don't want start every time with 2 forward slashes. Okay, na? Then one more way is there, that is forward slash followed by star. Okay, na? You can write any number of lines, any number of lines text, any number of lines we can write, but finally we need to stop the comment with star followed by forward slash. This particular comment is called block comment. Okay, na? We call this comment as block comment. So this is the first step in writing pseudocode, and we can also provide comment at the middle of the program. Whenever you want to provide the meaning of any instruction or any statement, immediately at the end of semicolon, after putting semicolon, immediately start 2 forward slashes. After that, you can write the purpose of that particular instruction, why we included, what is the purpose of that particular instruction, like that we can include. Or at the beginning of the program, we can also provide program purpose using either line comments or block comments. Mostly we are using line comments in algorithms, because at each and every step we are providing comment. That's why that particular one is not going to extend into next line. Is it clear now? Okay, na? So this is about first step. Any doubt in this? If you have any doubt, including comments to your pseudocode or algorithm or program, even in program also we write the comments like this. If you have any doubt, please ask me, Nana. Any doubt? Do you have any doubt about these comments? No doubt, then I will continue. Okay, next one is blocks. Blocks are represented by open curly brace. In between, you can write any number of statements. What do you mean by block? Group of statements. Whenever group of statements, repetition is required. Even you see for loop or while loop. While writing program, if for loop is containing only one statement, no need to put open and close curly brace. Suppose more than one statement repetition is required, you are supposed to include those statements within open and close curly brace. Then only system or compiler treats that is single unit. For making any number of statements as single unit, we are supposed to include those statements within open and close curly brace. Then compiler automatically repeats those statements. Okay, na? And these. So in between open and close curly brace, if you include any number of statements, those statements are treated as a block. Generally, we use these blocks in functions. Generally, functions, whenever you write function header followed by open curly brace, after that we can include the logical information about the function, but finally we need to close the function. Is it clear now? So function body is requiring open and close curly brace. Means compound statements. Compound means more number of statements. So compound statements representation is requiring block related representation or procedures. Even in main program, okay, na? After main we are supposed to put open curly brace. Okay, na? After that we can write any number of lines. Okay, na? Lines as logical part. After that we need to close the main program. Is it clear now? Okay, na? So what do you mean by block now? Block means group of statements. So all the compound statements are represented as a block. But how can we recognize block? If any number of statements, if statements are represented within open and closed curly brace, we always treat them as a block. Block means single unit. Okay, na? Compiler always treat them as a single unit. Whenever any repetition is required, more number of statements repetition is required, we are supposed to include all the required repetitive statements within open and closed curly brace. Generally, we use these block statements for representing functions, procedures, or looping statements which are requiring more number of statements repetition. Looping statements. If looping statements requiring more number of statements repetition, more number of statements repetition, then in that case we are supposed to use blocks. Okay, any doubt, Nana, here? So about comments, about the blocks, if you have any doubt you can ask me. Nana, respond me. Don't sit as idle. Don't see cinema here. Don't sit as idle. I'm not asking question related to topic. Whether you have understood or not, please respond. If understood, then I'll go to next step in pseudocode. Or if you have any doubt, immediately raise me question, or you can ask me question. Is it clear now? So first one is comments. Second one is blocks. Very few students are attended. I don't know why. What is the reason? Only 24. Okay, as you wish. You are not interested, I think. Okay, now third one is identifiers. Identifiers. What do you mean by identifier? Generally, we are using some variables or function names, program names, procedure names, or some other item names. So generally, all these names are represented as identifier. We know the rules of identifiers in C language. Okay, na? Same rules we are imposing. So here, every identifier must start with a letter. Must start with letter or character. Is it clear now? Must start with letter. Okay, na? After that, we can use any number of variable, any number of letters and digits, means alphanumeric. Okay, na? But we should start with letter. Okay, na? Letters we use like int. Suppose after a we can write any number of digits. Nothing wrong. Based on acceptance of the particular algorithm, we can use that much length. Okay, na? But you should start with letter. And we can also start with underscore. But what is the reason why we are not using underscore as starting symbol? One reason you might have listened one reason from your faculty in C language. While teaching C language, faculty also told you, I think we can start variable name or identifier name with underscore. But the problem here is knowingly or unknowingly, we may use the same variable name, predefined variable name, because most of the predefined variable names and functions are starting with underscore. Okay, na? If you unknowingly or knowingly, if you use the same item, then compiler raises error, because we cannot use predefined functions or predefined variables for other purpose. What do you mean by predefined? The purpose is already defined. We cannot use it for other purpose. That's why we get error. Okay, na? So that's why we are not preferring underscore as starting symbol for writing identifiers. Is it clear now? Okay, na? So identifiers starting with the letter or character. After that, we can use any number of characters and digits. Nothing wrong. But you should start with letter. We can also start with underscore. I have told why we are not preferring underscore as starting symbol. One reason I already told you. Okay, na? After that, whenever you are using letters or characters or identifiers, whatever it may be the variable you are using in, no need to declare. Declaration is not required, because we didn't declare any variable in writing algorithm. Declaration is not required. Yes or no? Declaration is not required in algorithm. Based on context, we can identify. Based on context, we can identify the purpose of data type. Based on context, we can identify data type of an variable. Is it clear now? Okay, na? So declaration is not required in algorithms. Just we directly use the variables, identifiers, whatever the identifiers that are required, we can directly use. No need to declare any variable. Declaration part is not required, and scope is also not there. No need to declare scope also. Okay, now scope means either local or global. Whether variable is local or global is not declared, not possible. Again, based on context, we can identify. Based on context, we can identify, or we as a programmer we can say, because we only writing algorithm. Is it clear? So involvement of algorithms, involvement of variables, and placements of variables is we know. We know the placement of variable, involvement of variable, and nature of the variable we know. So that's why we can easily identify whether variable type is integer or character or float. Suppose if in for loop, if you use for I equal to value 1 to value 2, okay, na? Then in that case, what is I value? I is obviously integer. I is obviously integer. Is it clear now? So based on context, we can identify data type of identifier, and based on context itself, we can identify whether variable is local variable or global variable. Is it clear now up to this? Okay, na? So this is the third step, but we are not using all the steps while writing program algorithm. Just required steps we use, but these are the flow sequence. These are the items we are supposed to use in writing algorithm. Okay, now first comments, second one is identity blocks, and third one is identifier, and fourth one. Okay, now suppose here, and one more thing I need to tell you. Normal data types we can need not declare, because sometimes compound data types may be required, like the structures, unions. Compound data types. Then compound data types like structures and unions, those compound data types are declared as a record. Okay, na? Like record. Here we can include required number of data types. Suppose data type 1 followed by item 1. Okay, na? Item 1. Like this, data type 2 followed by item 2. Data type 2 followed by item 2. Here in this particular syntax is required. This particular syntax is required whenever compound data type items are required to your algorithm or program. Compound data types. And if normal simple data types like integer, float, character is there, we know to declare those integer, float, and character in the program. Whenever structure, whenever node related information, a union related information is required, we are supposed to represent node related information as node equal to one record type. Record type we need to declare. Okay, na record type we need to declare. Okay, na. So like this, but for accessing structure, we are supposed to use, suppose here node, then node star any variable you use, link type variable. By using link, this particular link, we can access all the variable members. We know already how we can access structure members. So data type 1, item 1, data type 2, item 2 are structure members. Item 1 is member, item 2 is one member. This is data type of item 1, this is data type of item 2. Okay, na? How can we access the structure members? Either using dot or arrow. We know either using dot or arrow we can access. Suppose node name is suppose node 1, then node 1 dot item 1, node 1 dot item 2, node 1 dot item 1, node 1 dot item 2, or node 1 arrow item 1, node 1 arrow item 2, like that. The simple way. As structure members, here also we access all the compound data type related items using either dot extension or arrow extension. Is it clear now? So this is about third item, that is identifiers. So what do you mean by identifier? Identifier is like any variable or any function name or any procedure name or any other name which is involved in algorithm or program. So generally we start identifier with a letter. We cannot start with digit. Underscore also we can use, but I told you the reason why we are not preferring underscore for starting a variable name. Okay, na? And simple variable related that declaration is not required in program, and scope is also not required. We are not showing scope or local or global. We are not showing whether integer or float, but based on context, as a programmer or as a developer, we can identify. Okay, na? And compound data types items are represented like this. As a structure, compound data type items are represented like this. Okay, na? So this is about third item. And fourth item is assignment statements. Generally, we are using assignment statements. Okay, na? Assignment statements. So assignment statements are using operator as colon followed by equal. So this is the operator required for representing assignment statement. Suppose if you want to assign 2 to any variable a, if you want to assign the value 2 to variable a, then this is the statement required, a equal to 2. Here we are using assignment statement as colon equal symbol. So a is variable name, 2 may be expression. A is variable name, 2 is expression. Is it clear now? Okay, na? Sometimes a may be b plus c, or a may be 2. So ultimately the left side part is variable name and right side part is expression. That expression may be single value or the expression may be in terms of operations and variables. Is it clear now? Okay, na? So this is assignment operator. Okay, na? So variable name followed by assignment operator symbol followed by value or expression. Okay, na? A equal to b plus c or a equal to 2. The based on requirement we use. Okay, na? So this is the fourth item generally we are using in algorithm writing. Okay, assignments. Next one is, suppose if your program is requiring multi-dimensional arrays. So multi-dimensional array elements access. How we can access elements? By using these braces. Yes or no? These braces. Suppose if you want to access I through jth column element, then simply use I through jth column like this. I through jth column. So here multi-dimensional array elements are represented within braces. So these braces, open braces, multi-dimensional array elements are represented within open braces. Suppose if you write algorithm for matrices, while writing algorithm for matrices, if you want to show matrix A, so A of suppose 10 comma 20, A of 10 comma 20. So what do you mean by this? Array name is A and number of rows are 10, number of columns are 20 required. Suppose if you want to access first row, second column element, we can represent it like this. Okay, A of 1 comma 2 means first row, second column element. So like this we can access. So multi-dimensional array elements are accessed by using this array representation. This also while we are dealing with matrices, or one dimensional, two dimensional arrays we represent. Or one dimensional array simply requiring only one element, like a of 1. One dimensional array is requiring only one parameter inside, and two dimensional array is requiring two parameters. Three dimensional array is requiring three parameters inside the open braces. Okay, na? So for accessing any element in arrays, we are using open braces. These two braces, in between those two braces, we mention row number and column number. Automatically, that particular value can be accessed by compiler. So we need to give which number is required in application or manipulations. Okay, na? So based on that, we can access only elements. So element access in multi-dimensional array is requiring those two braces. Is it clear now? Okay, na? Next one is, sometimes we use two Boolean values. Two Boolean values. What are those two Boolean values? True and false are two Boolean values. True and false. Okay, na? So how can we get true and false as results? Based on relational operators. Generally, we are using relational operators in program. Relational operators in program. So based on relational operators result. What are the relational operators now? Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to. Yes or no? So these are relational operators. Generally, these relational operators are producing result as true or false. Suppose if A less than B, if A less than B, suppose if you include the statement like this, if A less than B, if you include statement like this, suppose A equal to 5, B equal to 7. So what is the result here? A equal to 5, B equal to 7. 5 is less than 7 is true. We get yes as a result or true as a result. Yes or true as a result. Okay, na? If A, suppose if you immediately change less than as greater than, 5 greater than 7 is false. Then in this particular case, we get false as a result or no as a result. So there are two Boolean operators in program or algorithm. Those two Boolean operators are true and false or yes or no. So those two Boolean operators are extracted or resultant from the relational operators or logical operators. Logical operators are also producing result as the true or false. Is it clear now? So this is the sixth step we are using while writing algorithms. But not all required statements only we use, but these are the possible number of statements. Okay, na? This is next. The seventh one is, so whenever you deal with the loops, suppose if loops may be required, your program may require loops like for loop, while loop, and repeat until statements. You know the syntax of for loop, but here little variety. For loop in algorithms, we are supposed to write for loop like this: for suppose I equal to, how we can write equal to? For I equal to, I will tell you, value 1 to value 2. I will tell you what is step 2, followed by we can write all the statements, followed by we can write all the for loop related statements. Is it clear? Okay, na? Here I is a variable name. So the syntax for loop is for expression. I is expression now. For expression, okay, na? Assignment symbol followed by expression 1 to expression 2. Value is also expression. Value 1 is one expression, value 2 is another expression. Okay, na? Expression 1 to expression 2, expression 1 to and expression 2, step 2. Okay, now I will tell you what is the second step. This step is very, very important. Suppose if you want to increment I by 2 units every time, if you want to include I by 2 units every time, at this second step you are supposed to write 2. At the second step you are supposed to write 2. I will tell you. For I equal to 1 to n2. For I equal to 1 to n2. If you write it like this, here I didn't mention any step here. Then default here it takes default incrementation. Default incrementation is 1. Here I incremented by 1. Every time I incremented by 1. Okay, na? I value will be incremented by 1 here because I am not mentioning any step count. Okay, na? This is default. I incremented by 1 here because I didn't mention any step. Okay, suppose 1 to n step to do. Here, the highlighted step here, highlighted step is there. Na? I replace that highlighted step with 2. Highlighted step with 2. Here, simply the I will be incremented by 2 units. So that is based on for loop. That is based on for loop requirement. Either we use step value as 1, step value as 2, step value as 3, and so on. If step value is 1, only I will be incremented by 1 unit. No need to mention this step. If I will be incremented by 1, that is default. No need to mention step count here. More than 1, if I will be incremented by more than 1, in that case you are supposed to represent this statement in for loop and algorithms, especially in for loop in C program, for okay na, for the same statement in C program we can write it for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to n. Is it clear now? I plus plus, this is one value incrementation. The equivalent for loop equivalent step is this. Here I is initially started at 1, extended up to n, but every time it will be incremented by 1 unit. Okay na? Suppose if you want to increment by 2 units, then I equal to I plus 2. Mention I equal to I plus 2. So this particular statement incrementing I value by 2 units. Is it clear now? So that is about for loop. So little variation is there in programming for loop and algorithm for loop. This is program for loop. This is algorithm for loop. This is algorithm for loop. Okay na? For I equal to 1 to n do, or for I equal to 1 to n step do, like this. Like this we need to include for loop. Okay na? So this is one loop. While and repeat until are same. While condition. How can we write? While condition or expression. While condition execute all the following statements. If condition is true, then whatever the statements you are included in open and close curly brace, we are going to execute. The compiler executes. This is compound statement because all the statements are included within open and close curly brace. Suppose if for loop is executing only one statement, need not worry about open and close curly brace. Nothing wrong. If you put nothing wrong, if only one statement repetition is required, no need to put open and close curly brace. Even you put nothing wrong, more number of statement repetition is required, then only we are supposed to make all the statements as single unit. For making all the statements as single unit, you must include all the required repetitive statements within open and closed curly brace under the respective loop. Okay na? So this is while loop. And repeat until repeat all the statements